Furtwängler, the Reichsminister.
Dr. Furtwängler, I want to apologize personally for this power failure. I was so enjoying the performance. In times like these, we need spiritual nourishment. But I welcome this unexpected opportunity of talking to you. When you came to the platform tonight, I thought you weren't well. You look tired. Get away from this bombing, away from the war. You should go abroad for a while. Yes. You look tired. Even in this light.
Look at them. Men, women, kids. Boy, did they love him. You see, Steve, Adolf Hitler touched something real deep, savage, and barbaric. And it won't just go away overnight either. It's got to be rooted out. You know what I think? I think they were all Nazis. And let's face it, their leaders, those bastards now on trial in Nuremberg, couldn't have done it alone. It's these people. They gave all the help that was needed, willingly. That's him, Furtwängler. Wilhelm Furtwängler. So, you've never heard of him?
Nope.
Do you know who Arturo Toscanini is?
Sure.
He's as big as Toscanini, maybe even bigger. In this neck of the woods, he's like Bob Hope and Betty Grable, all into one.
Geez, and I never heard of him?
You were in insurance before the war.
Right. Claims assessor.
Conscientious, determined, dogged.
He said I was dogged?
Well, they say here that when you went on a case, you stayed on it. Now, we can't take every Nazi in this country to trial, although I would like to. It's an impossibility. So we're going for the big boys in industry, education, law, and culture.
Like the band leader.
Well, he's a little more than just a band leader, Steve. He's a great conductor, a gifted artist. But we believe that he sold himself to the devil. Your number one priority from this moment on is to connect him to the Nazi Party. Don't be impressed by him. I want the folks back home to understand why we fought this war. Find Wilhelm Furtwängler guilty. He represents everything that was rotten in Germany. Stay put, Steve. There's some other stuff that I'd like for you to see here. Background. Oh, one thing that may be a problem. Our occupation authorities in Wiesbaden have a duty to help these poor unfortunates with their defense. They keep repeating, we must be just. We must appear as being just. Well, I only have one thing to say to the liberals in Wiesbaden. Fuck them. You answer to no one but me. Is that understood? Show him the film.
Yes, sir.
That is the hand that dropped the bombs on defenseless Rotterdam, Brussels, Belgrade. That is the hand that destroyed the cities, villages, and homes of Russia. That is the hand that held the whip over the Polish,
Next reel, please.
French, and Norwegian slaves. That is the hand that took their food.
Sanitary conditions were so appalling that heavy equipment had to be brought in to speed the work of cleaning up. This was Bergen-Belsen.
Remember, men, no fraternization. In a German town, if you bow to a pretty girl or pat a blonde child, you bow to all that Hitler stood for. You bow to his reign of blood. You caress the ideology that meant death and destruction. You never know who was a member of the Nazi Party. Don't be fooled. Don't fraternize.
Cigarette? Chewing gum? Sister, cigarette, chewing gum.
We're gonna have the heating fixed by tonight. Fräulein, this is Major Arnold. Sir, this is your secretary, Fräulein Emmy Strauber. Her file is on your desk. They sent her over from admin. I leave you to it.
You live here in Berlin?
Yes.
You do shorthand and typing?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. How long were you in the camp for?
3 months.
It says here because of your father. What's that mean?
My father was one of the officers in a plot against Hitler. They arrested the plotters and the families.
And your mother, too?
She suffered longer. She was in Ravensbrück.
And your father was executed? I'm going to call you Emmy, and you're going to call me Steve, okay? I got a list of stuff here I'd like you to get for me.
If you need anything, let me know.
Major,
Steve!
there have been messages for you. Lieutenant David Wills called from the Allied Kommandantur Cultural Affairs Office in Wiesbaden. I don't know who he is. And, there have been 3 calls from Dr. Furtwängler wanting to know when you wish to see him. I didn't speak to him personally.
Think you can get me any of that?
Oh, yes. Major, I have recordings of all the symphonies. I kept them safe during the bombing. My favorite is the 7th Symphony.
Mine's the 11th.
But he only wrote 9, Major.
I'm kidding, Emmy. What about a record player? You have that too?
No, ours was damaged.
What's in those files?
The names of the members of the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra since 1934, together with the questionnaires. Major, what am I to tell Dr. Furtwängler?
You tell him nothing, Emmy. Because again, you say you know nothing. We're going to keep him waiting while I get acquainted with his case and with the witnesses and, God help me, with Beethoven.
Entschuldigung, wie viel Grammophone?
Da drüben gegenüber. So. Yeah.
Lieutenant Wills reporting to Major Arnold, sir.
For Christ's sakes, I hate that shit. Cut it out.
Very sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm Steve Arnold. What's your name?
David. David Wills. I'm your liaison officer with the Allied Kommandantur Cultural Affairs Committee, sir.
Sounds like a lot of fun. So, they sent the big guns to check up on me, huh? We recruiting children now?
I guess so, sir.
You call me sir again, I'll make you listen to Beethoven. Where you from, David?
Well, I was born here, in Leipzig. I escaped in '36. My parents, they sent me to my uncle in Philadelphia. They were to follow, but they delayed, and our family name was Wyatt. But it doesn't sound well in English, so my uncle changed it to Wills.
Oh, come in, Emmy. This is your office, too. Emmy, this is Lieutenant David Wills. He's here to watch over us. I guess you admire musicians.
Some.
Don't. This is like a criminal investigation, David. Musicians, morticians, doctors, lawyers, butchers, clerks, they're all the same. We have a duty. A moral duty. Hallelujah.
Herr Rudolf Werner?
Sit down, Werner. I want you to understand why you're here. This is an investigation into Willem Fredwangler, former Prussian Privy Councillor, banned from public life under Control Council Directive number 24, and who's applied to come before the Tribunal for Artists of the Denazification Commission. I'm interested in what he was up to from 1933 to the end of the war. Understood?
Yes.
Rudolf Otto Werner, wind section since 1936. What instrument did you play?
First oboe.
I have your questionnaire here. It says you were never a member of the Nazi Party.
Absolutely not. No, I was never a Nazi. I have no interest in politics. I'm a musician.
Hey, slow down. Fraulein Straube has to take down what you say.
Straube? Any relations to Colonel Joachim Straube?
My father.
It's a great honor to meet you, Fräulein. Your father was a great patriot. Dr. Furtwängler is a great musician. He actively opposed the Nazis. And later on, he helped many Jews to escape.
And how do you explain him being made a Prussian Privy Councillor?
That was Hermann Göring. I was told he just made the Maestro his Privy Councillor, no questions asked. But Dr. Furtwängler stood up to him. And to Dr. Goebbels.
He also conducted for Hitler, didn't he?
Yes, that's true. But he refused to give the Nazi salute. In Hitler's presence. That was a brave act.
Brave? To celebrate Hitler's birthday with some heroic piece by Wagner, but without the Nazi salute. Bravo.
It was Beethoven's ninth.
Do you really think it was brave? Didn't he bow to him and shake his hand?
No, I give you my word. I never was a member of the Nazi Party, never. I'm in the percussion section. I play the timpani. Anyway, they would never have allowed it. My brother was married to a Jewess. May she rest in peace. And Goebbels said, please take this down carefully because it's most important, Fräulein.
Straube.
Straube. Oh, are you by any chance related to Colonel Joachim Straube?
My father.
Oh, he was a great hero. Goebbels, yes, Joseph Goebbels said, there's not a single filthy Jew left in Germany on whose behalf Dr. Furtwängler has not intervened. No one could have been less of a Nazi than Dr. Furtwängler.
But this was the same guy who conducted for Adolf on his birthday.
He was forced to do that. But he refused to give the Nazi salute in front of Hitler. He kept the baton in his hand. You can't salute with a baton in your hand.
And what about the Nuremberg rally?
No, we played on the evening before the rally.
Oh, the evening before, I see.
Yes, sir. Dr. Furtwängler was absolutely clear about this. Politics and art must be kept separate.
Politics and art must be kept separate. I'll remember that. But let me see if you can help me with something I just don't understand. I'd really like to know why all you guys are so crazy about him. What's his secret?
Well, it's hard to explain. I can only tell from my own experience. Soon after I joined the orchestra, we rehearsed the Third Symphony of Beethoven, the Eroica. And there are several rather difficult passages for the timpani. One particular crescendo. During the break, I asked him how he wanted it played. He was studying his score. He didn't look up. He said, just watch me. And so, of course, I did. I never stopped watching him. The moment came, and suddenly he turned to me, and our eyes were locked. And there was something in his look that simply demanded the crescendo. I shall never forget this look. It was a moment of magic.
Have you ever seen Adolf Hitler's eyes when he was making a speech? I've seen him on films.
Yes?
Was looking at Furtwängler like that?
I don't know what you mean, Major.
When you got to the crescendo. You think a whole orchestra, 120 so guys, could be orchestrated?
Guess it's possible.
So what does the Ruski want?
Colonel Dimshitz especially to see you.
Dim shits.
I'm talking now with General Forestier, who is in charge of the press sector.
What the hell are they doing? They're trying to sort out some of the works of art the Nazis stole from occupied territories. Who really owns what? That's Colonel Dimshitz on the far side. Art historian, head of the famous Leningrad Museum of Art. He's an expert on German culture.
Je suis navré, colonel, cette peinture n'est pas la propriété de l'Union soviétique, mais bien celle de la France.
What is he saying? Henry, what are you saying? He's saying that picture is the property of France.
C'est un Braque, qui avec Picasso a été un des pionniers du cubisme.
I know who George Braque is. I know, Captain.
We can produce the provenance of his Braque. You say provenance?
Hello, Major. My name is Dimshitz. Colonel. Glad to see you.
Pleasure.
So, Major, tell me, have you questioned Dr. Furtwängler?
Not yet.
I had 2 meetings with him. He's a great musician, maybe the greatest conductor in the world. He's Brahms, Beethoven, Schubert, unequal. I'll come straight to the point. I offer him very attractive position, conductor of the Staatsoper in Unter den Linden. He refused. But I want him. I want him badly, and I want your help.
Now, just a moment. You should have discussed this with me first.
I'll discuss it with you now. Major, I'll you to drop your investigation. Save everybody time and trouble.
We can't just drop a case just like that.
I'll give you another conductor in exchange. Writers, musician, actor, what do you care? But I like Furtwängler. He's my favorite conductor. Mine and Hitler. He's our favorite conductor.
You go like this. Put your hand back. Yeah, right. Straight like this. I click my heels and I bowed at the same time.
That's because you had a proper upbringing.
That's right. I was raised very strictly. We were very German. So don't speak before you're spoken to.
Oh, and don't wave your hands about.
Respect your elders and your betters.
And no elbows on the table.
Eating is eating.
And talking is talking. Well, I think we'd better get on.
Right, so this is going to be very formal too now. Lieutenant David Wills requests the pleasure of the company of Fräulein Emmy Straube at dinner. Any night she cares.
David, need to ask you something. You heard this rumor the British found something called the Hinkle Archive?
Yes.
So what is it?
The British occupied the building where this guy, Hinkel, Hans Hinkel, ran a Nazi Ministry of Culture, and it seems they've discovered a secret archive.
What's that mean?
I don't know, but the British are very excited about it, I know that. The rumor is that Hinkel kept a file on every artist working in the Third Reich.
Jeez. And you think the British will share it with their allies?
Major Richard said he called to let us know.
Oh, that's big of him. Okay, better question the next witness. I'll bet you a bottle of French champagne he tells us the Baton story inside 10 minutes?
5 minutes.
It's a bet. You're the witness, Emmy.
Helmuth Alfred Roda, second violinist since 1935. What's it mean, second violinist?
It means I wasn't good enough to be a first violinist.
Good. And according to your questionnaire, Helmuth, you never joined the Nazi Party.
Me? Never. Never. I know everyone now says they were never Nazis, but in my case it is absolutely 100% true. I'm a Catholic. It would have been totally against my conscience. Is it true you're going to interview Dr. Furtwängler today?
I'll ask the questions, Helmuth.
Excuse me. Did you know that he refused to give the Nazi salute when Hitler was present in the audience? The problem was, how could he avoid giving the devil salute when Satan was actually sitting there? And I said, Dr. Furtwängler, why not enter with a baton in your right hand? Hitler will be sitting in the front row, and if you give the salute with a baton in your right hand, it'll look like you're going to poke his eyes out. He was really grateful to me for that. After the concert, I stole that baton as a memento of a great act of courage. I still have it. I should have brought it to show you. I hope I'm not going too fast for you, Fräulein.
Straube.
Straube. Any relation to Colonel Joachim Straub?
My father.
I'm deeply honored to be in your presence, Fräulein Straube. Your father was a true patriot, a man of God.
You have a question for Helmuth, David?
Yes. What was the orchestra's reaction when they asked you to play it for Hitler's birthday?
We didn't play for his birthday. We played the evening before. It was the 19th of April, not the 20th.
Do you know Hans Hinkel?
No, Hans Hinkel.
That's what I asked.
No, Hans Hinkel.
You seem to understand the question. Now, how about answering it?
Hans Hinkel was in the Ministry of Culture. How could I know such a man? I hear the British have his archive. Records and files.
Do you know what's in this archive?
How could I know what's in the archive?
Okay, you can go, Helmuth. Get out.
Setzen Sie sich.
Nein, danke.
Furtwängler.
Major?
He's here.
Shut the door on me. Sit down. We're going to keep him waiting. Emmy, get us some coffee, will you? Don't offer him coffee. Don't even greet him.
Fräulein, how long am I to be kept waiting?
Okay, Emmy, go get him.
Dr. Furtwängler?
I didn't hear anyone invite you to sit down. Sit there. I want you to understand why you're here. You're automatically banned from public life under Control Council Directive number 24. We're here to look into your case before you appear in front of the Tribunal for Artists of the Denazification Commission. Do you understand that?
I've already been cleared by Denazification Tribunal in Austria.
What they do in Austria doesn't interest me one little bit, okay? I have your questionnaire here. Gustav Heinrich Ernst Martin Wilhelm Furtwängler. Born Berlin, January 1886, orchestral conductor. And you say here you were never a member of the Nazi Party.
Yes, that is correct.
Could you tell us about being made a Prussian privy councillor? How did that happen to a non-party member?
I received a telegram from Hermann Goering informing me that he had made me a privy councillor. I wasn't given the opportunity either to accept or refuse. And after the dreadful events of November 1938, the violent attacks on the Jews, I stopped using the title.
What about Vice President of the Chamber of Music? You used that title, didn't you? But then I suppose you had no choice there either, because I suppose Dr. Goebbels just sent you a telegram saying, "Dear Mr. Vice President."
I don't think Dr. Goebbels sent me a telegram. I was simply told in a letter, I believe. I don't remember exactly.
Hell, Goebbels and Goering were sure heaping honors on you. One makes you a privy councillor, the other makes you Vice President of the Chamber of Music. And you weren't even a member of the party. How do you explain that?
Well, there was a constant battle between Goering and Goebbels as to which of them would control German culture, and I was simply a pawn. Anyway, I resigned from the Musikkammer, and then at the same time I resigned as musical director of the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra in 1934.
Why was that? Why did you resign, Dr. Furtwängler?
I wrote an open letter to the newspapers condemning what they were doing to music, making these distinctions between Jews and non-Jews. For my part, the only divide in art is between good and bad. Eventually, Goebbels summoned me and told me I could leave the country if I wanted to. But under no condition would I ever be allowed to return. I've always believed that you have to fight from the inside, not from without. I asked myself, what is the duty of an artist? To stay or to leave? And then Goebbels demanded that I acknowledge Hitler as solely responsible for cultural policy. Well, that was a fact. It seemed pointless to deny. I simply acknowledged that Hitler and the Minister of Culture appointed by him were solely responsible for the cultural policy of the Reich. What I wanted to express was that I, personally, had no responsibility whatsoever for their cultural policy. I've always held the view that art and politics should have nothing to do with each other.
Then why did you conduct at one of their Nuremberg rallies?
I did not conduct it at the rally. I conducted on the evening before the rally.
That sounds like the small print in one of our insurance policies, Wilhelm. And what about April 19, 1942? The eve of Hitler's 53rd birthday, the big celebration. You conducted for Hitler, didn't you? Was that in keeping with your view that art and politics have nothing to do with each other?
That was a different matter. I was tricked.
How come?
Can I have a glass of water, please? Please, Fräulein.
Straube.
Thank you. Thank you. I was in Vienna rehearsing the Ninth Symphony of Beethoven when Goebbels called and said I had to conduct at Hitler's birthday. I'd always managed to wriggle out of such invitations by pleading previous engagements, illness, having my doctor state I was not well, and so on and so on. I was also fortunate that Baldur von Schirach, who controlled Vienna, hated Dr. Goebbels and would do anything to thwart his wishes. But this time, Goebbels got to my doctors before me, and they were frightened off. Von Schirach was threatened, bullied, and gave in. So I had no alternative but to conduct for Hitler. Believe me, I knew I had compromised, and I deeply regret it.
Doesn't sound like much of a trick to me. Sounds like you made a deal.
I made no deal.
I don't buy that.
It's the truth.
I keep hearing you helped a lot of Jews to escape. How did you do that?
I don't remember in detail. There were so many.
Did you call someone you knew?
Well, I may have. As I said, I simply don't remember.
Let me help you then. You picked up the phone and made a call. Hello, Adolf. Wilhelm speaking. Listen, old pal, there's a Jew boy musician I'd like you to help. He needs a permit to get to Paris. Or maybe you called Goebbels or Goering. You were so close. You were in the same shithouse as them.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
When will my case be heard by the tribunal?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I need to work. I need to make my living. I live off the generosity of friends.
Tough!
Then why is it, please, that another conductor, who actually was a member of the party, who used to play the horse vessel before his concerts, has already been cleared and is working again, while I have to wait and wait and wait?
I don't know. It wasn't my case. Why did you escape to Switzerland just before the war ended?
What?
Why did you escape to Switzerland just before the war ended?
It was because I learned that the Gestapo was about to arrest me.
Why were they going to arrest you?
I believe it was because of another letter I'd written to Goebbels, lamenting the decline of musical standards due to racial policies.
You didn't complain about the racial policies? Just about the musical standards? Is that right? So how did you learn that the Gestapo was out to get you?
During an enforced hour-long interval because of a power failure at a concert here in Berlin, Albert Speer, the Minister of Armaments, said to me, "You look very tired, Mr. Furtwängler. You should go abroad for a while. I knew exactly what he meant.
You sure knew a lot of people in high places.
It would be true to say I think that a lot of people in high places knew me.
You were real close to all of them. To Adolf, to Herman, to Joseph, to Baldur, and now Albert. So, let's hear the truth, Wilhelm. Let's come clean. What was your party number?
If you're going to bully me like this, Major, you better do your homework. You obviously have no idea how impertinent and stupid your questions are.
David, you remember I said I had a question for Willem that he wouldn't be able to answer? Well, I'm going to ask it now. You ready for this, Willem? It's a tough one. Why didn't you get out right at the start when Hitler came to power in 1933? Why didn't you leave Germany? I have a list of names, people in your profession who got out in 1933. Bruno Walter, Otto Klemperer, Otto Schoenberg, Max Reinhardt.
They were Jews. They had to leave. They were right to leave. I could not leave my country in the deepest misery. After all, I am German. I stayed in my homeland. Is that my sin in your eyes?
See, David, he can't answer the question. I'm going to ask it again, Willem. But don't give me any more airy-fairy intellectual bullshit.
Major Arnold's office? Yes, he is. It's Major Richards for Lieutenant David Wills.
David Wills, yes, sir. Well, you want me to tell him? Okay. Major Richards wants to work with you, sir.
Why can't he just ask for me? Or does he have to ask for you first? Goddamn British, so correct. Steve Arnold. Huh?
I've had enough of this. I'm leaving.
Dr. Furtwängler. Dr. Furtwängler, please. Please. Don't. It's not advisable. When I was a child, my father, he took me to one of your concerts. I remember you conducted Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. I was deeply moved. And I've loved music ever since then. I was grateful to you. And I've admired you. How could you serve those criminals?
How many? Jesus, that's dynamite. Okay.
Dr. Furtwängler?
Well now, aren't we all sociable? I've got to hand it to the British, David. You know what those guys are? Decent. Tell me here, Dr. Furtwängler, you know Hans Hinkel?
No, but despicable human being. He was in the Ministry of Culture. His job was to get rid of Jews in the arts.
Yep, that's him. That's the guy. You know what else the little creep did? He kept files. Close to 250,000 files. And you know what's in those files?
Certainly not, but I knew he had informants everywhere. Even in my orchestra there was someone.
Who?
I wasn't told, I just knew.
How?
I was warned.
Who warned you?
Goering! Because Hinkel was working for Goebbels.
What did Goering say?
Told me to be careful as one of Goebbels' men was watching me. He read a report on me. Everything I said was quoted word by word.
Oh boy, you're gonna love this. Take your time with this now. Those files contain the details of every working artist in this country. Those files are gonna tell us who joined the party, who informed, and who was helpful.
Your name, please?
David Wilson.
Over there.
Fantastic. Only condition is we have to do the work here. I want you to collect all the files on the boys in the band.
can have a look at this.
Schubert.
Dr. England, moving. Are you agree? Whenever I hear Schubert, I am more. Do you agree?
The tempi were a little too correct for my taste, but I expect that's because of the rain.
And Doctor, I understand you have difficulties with the Americans. I want you to know I'm your champion. We can help.
What does he mean to correct?
I don't know.
Oklahoma City is mighty pretty. See Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona. Don't forget Winona, Kingman, Marshall, San Bernardino. Won't you get it excited when you're there? That's California. Get your kicks on Route 66. And Oklahoma City, mighty pretty. You'll see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona. Don't forget Winona, Kingman, Marshall, San Bernardino. Won't you get it excited when you make that California trip? Get your kicks on Route 66.
Well, what is this, the office party? May I join you? So, what have you two been up to tonight? Hey, don't I owe you a bottle of French champagne? You know, David, you're a lucky guy. I invited Emmy here, but she turned me down. You must have hidden depths, David. Come on, Emmy, let's dance. I'll teach you how to jive.
I'm very sorry, Major, but I promised her mother we have to go.
Travel my way, take the highway. Get your kids on Route 66. 8 miles from Chicago to LA. More than 2,000 miles all the way. Get your kids on Route 66.
Don't see me to my door, there's no need.
But I promised your mother.
Well.
Sleep well.
Excuse me, Major. I found this on Helmut Ruder, you remember? The second violinist? Look. He's Austrian, not German, but it's this that's more important, I think.
Psst. David Mills, telephone.
What is this? A railway station?
David Wilson, huh? Who in Wiesbaden?
Major?
Helmut.
Guess what I'm holding in my hand? You like guessing games?
Love him. I give up. What are you holding in your hand?
It's Dr. Furtwängler's baton, which I stole.
The one he kept in his right hand?
Yes, you remember.
How could I forget? Show me.
Show you?
Yeah, show me. I want to see you do it. Pretend I'm Madoff. You're the maestro and you have the baton in your right hand, but you give me the salute just the same.
Not here, Major. There are people.
Do it, Helmut.
Please, please, Major.
Do it right. You look great doing that. And I see what you mean. You nearly poked my eye out.
Exactly.
Don't worry, Helmut. It'll be our secret.
Mister! Here, mister!
Great catch, kid.
So, you wanted to see me? You usually don't work on Sunday, Major.
All in the cause of humanity, Helmut. Or should I call you 1049331?
What?
1049331. Or do you mind if I just call you one? You know what I say you are, Helmut? I say you're a piece of shit.
That bastard!
Who's the bastard, Helmut? Hinkle? Why? He promised to remove your file. And what about before that? What were you a member of in Austria?
I was a member of...
Speak up.
I was a member of the Communist Party. I was a communist. That's what Hinkle had over me. He knew everything. He held it over me. And that's how he made me cooperate.
Oh, I see. He made you cooperate. And now are you a communist again?
You don't know what it's like to wake up every single morning of your life terrified. You don't know that! I would never, in my wildest dream, ever become a second violinist in the Berlin Philharmonic. When they got rid of the Jews in the orchestra, it gave people like me a chance.
Helmuth, you ever heard of plea bargaining? Talk about power. I have the power to give you work, make your life easier. Your past won't be mentioned. I could give you a job tomorrow, but I have to get something in return. See, Helmuth, that's plea bargaining. I could give you freedom of movement, freedom to work, freedom, Helmuth. But I need something in return.
Major, we're discussing a man of genius.
Fuck that, Helmuth. You want to discuss symbols here? This guy was a front man. He was the piper, but he played there too. And you get my philosophical meaning? I'm not after small fish. I'm after Moby Dick. Come on, Helmuth. Hard facts.
Well, the only thing I know is he's an anti-Semite.
Of course. You too. Like everyone else in this goddamn country.
I've remembered something else.
Yeah?
Furtwängler sent Hitler a telegram for his birthday.
He did?
One of your people told me.
One of my people?
Yes, Corporal, U.S. Army. A Jew, he said he'd seen the telegram in the Chancellery.
Son of a gun. We'll find the corporal. We'll find the telegram.
But I need documentary proof. You know of anything like that?
No, but that's why we hated him. We admired him as a conductor, but we all hated him because he didn't have to join the party, and yet he had a better life than any of us. He didn't have to go and deliver a report after every trip abroad. He got everything from them. Everything. He was filthier than any of us party members. There's a rumor, I don't know if it's true or not, but ask him about Van der Nul.
Never heard of him. Who is he?
Edwin van der Nul, music critic. He gave Furtwängler terrible reviews while he raved about Herbert von Karajan.
Who's he?
Also conductor, very, very brilliant, young. Van der Nul called him the miracle von Karajan, and Furtwängler was outraged, and they say he had Van der Nul conscripted into the army. Same thing happened to another critic. Well, true or not, it's not such a bad idea. Critics give you bad reviews and you have them sent to the Russian front. But if you really want to get Furtwängler, ask him about Herbert von Karajan.
The miracle kid.
Yes. Yes, you may notice that he cannot even bring himself to utter his name. He refers to him as K. And ask him about his private life.
His private life?
Yes. It's all in here. It's women.
And who gave you the assignment to get the information about his private life? Hinkle?
Where do you stand on all this?
No, what?
On Furtwängler.
I don't know.
You represent the United States of America now. We have a moral duty to be just. And we have to be seen to be just.
Major Arnold believes he has a moral duty too.
Our duty is to help Furtwängler with his defense. That's why I want you to look at this. These are part of the transcripts of the trial at Nuremberg. Can't get it translated fast enough, but I guess you understand German, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the evidence of a guy named Delaris. He's a Swede, friend of Hermann Goering. I want you to study it, and I want you to use it. We're going to find some other stuff to supply you with. We have other suggestions. We need to build up a case for the defense based not on feelings, not on prejudice, but on facts.
Lieutenant Wills, Lee, timpanist, Römer, cello, Schmidt, viola. They are willing to help. We have already ordered ourselves coffee. Hope you...
Of course. The whole orchestra will vouch for him. He was always there to support us.
We need names, if possible, with addresses because it's urgent. And names of musicians saved by Dr. Furtwängler, people he helped to escape abroad. Let's go somewhere less public.
Cooperation.
I was in Vienna. I had with me an Austrian chauffeur. He spent time in the camps. And we were looking at these Viennese cleaning up the bomb damage, scavenging for rotting food, butt ends, anything. I said, to think 1 million of these people came out to welcome Adolf on the day he entered the city. 1 million of them. Now look at him. And Max said, oh, no, not these people, Major. These people were all at home, hiding Jews in their attic. You get the point, Colonel? The point is they're all full of shit.
Furtwängler is in a different category.
We're dealing with degenerates here.
Degenerate?
That's why he didn't get out of here when he had the chance. I put that to him. He couldn't answer. Why did he go and direct in America like that Italian Toscanini?
Perhaps he believed he could at least try to preserve something important things like an orchestra, a school. That's his country. Maybe he has old mother who can't be left alone. Maybe he has brothers, sisters.
Colonel, he had no sisters, no brothers, only a lot of love affairs.
Anyway, Major, why? Why he should leave his country? His mother tongue, his family, his history, his past, his future. Just because now only suddenly there is a dictatorship? Why?
Yeah, but what if all that turns rotten? What if they surround the space with barbed wire, Colonel?
Don't talk about things you know nothing about. He was in a dictatorship.
Art and politics, I heard of that.
Dictatorship, arts belong to the party. If you want to be a conductor, you have to have an orchestra. And you can only get an orchestra if you have contact with the power. All the world, you need the right contacts, and you have to make compromises.
This is what I'm saying. He must have had party contacts.
There are good party members who help, and there are dirty non-party members who inform you. Of course, they gave him privileges, and suddenly, Steve, suddenly, you notice they like you, they honor you, and suddenly, you are the director of the best museum in the world, for example.
What museum?
Museum. I say orchestra. Sorry. Believe me, Steve. Help me, Steve. You say you answer for someone from high up. I, too, ordered it from high up, very high up. We want Furtwängler. I'll give you in return the whole orchestra. 4 or 5 conductors. I need him, Steve.
No can do.
Let Furtwängler go, please.
I have a duty.
Duty! I'm sorry, duty. Duty, fucking duty! Troubles you American want every
Everybody live like you. We liberated Berlin. Major Steve, not you. We got duty also to bring back the best of German culture. I'm gonna get the fucking Berlin. No, girl! Oh, fucking hell. Then you are going to kill me.
You'll see ruins. You'll see flowers. You'll see some mighty pretty scenery. Don't let it fool you. You are in enemy country. The Nazi party may be gone. The Nazi thinking, Nazi training, and Nazi trickery remain. Somewhere in this Germany, there are 2 million ex-Nazi officials. Out of power, but still in there. And thinking about next time. Remember that only yesterday, every business, every profession was part of Hitler's system. Practically every German was part of the Nazi network. They believe they were born to be masters. Don't argue with them. You are not being sent into Germany as educators. You are soldiers on guard. You will observe their local laws, respect their customs and religion, and you will respect their property rights. You will not be friendly. You will be aloof, watchful, and suspicious.
Haben Sie Bock, ne?
Ja, hab ich.
Die 7. Wie viel?
200.
Yesterday I read that Furtwängler was asked to lead the New York Philharmonic back in '36. Toscanini suggested it. Had he accepted, he would have become the most celebrated conductor in America.
When he made his decision, he couldn't have known everything. Especially not the way people like you do, who've returned from exile and feel that you have a right to pass judgment. Because you are blameless. You think you know best who's a sinner and who deserves forgiveness, but you have no idea how people live
When he
here.
met Hitler at his birthday and he shook hands with him, was he pleased?
I don't know, but you and I already know that he has saved lives.
Emmy, this Bruckner 7th. Do you know where the Adagio begins?
Of course.
Put it on ready to play and I'll tell you when to play it.
Mm-hmm.
It's now 9 o'clock precisely. I do not intend to be kept waiting again.
Don't talk to me like I was a second violinist. Go back in the waiting room. Miss Straube will come and get you when I am ready to see you.
Jesus, God, who the hell does he think he is? Who the hell does he think he is?
Would you perhaps like to have a glass of water, Professor?
What is this man doing here?
Dr. Furtwängler, come in, sit down. No, take this one, it's more comfortable. If it's too hot, open your tie.
I wish to say something.
Go ahead, be my guest.
When I last saw you, I was unprepared. I did not know what to expect, but in these past weeks, I've been thinking more carefully and making some notes. You have to understand who I am and what I am. I am a musician, and I believe in music. I'm an artist, and I believe in art. Art in general, and music in particular, has for me mystical powers which nurture man's spiritual needs. I must confess, however, to being extremely naive. I insisted for many years on the absolute separation of art and politics. My entire life was devoted to music because, and this is very important, because I thought that I could, through music, do something practical.
And what was that?
To maintain liberty, humanity, and justice.
Gee, that's a thing of beauty, honest to God. A real thing of beauty. I'm going to try to remember that. Liberty, humanity, and justice. Beautiful. But you used the word naive. Are you now saying that you think you were wrong, that art and politics can't be separated?
I believe art and politics should be separated. But that they weren't kept separate, I learned to my cost.
And when did you first learn that? When you sent the telegram? Was that the surrender signal, the waving of the white flag?
What telegram?
Happy birthday, dear Adolf, love Willem, or words to that effect. That sounds to me like you were dropping on your knees and saying, okay, Adolf, you win, you're the #1 man, have a swell party.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The birthday greetings you sent to your old pal Adolf Hitler.
I never sent him any birthday greetings or any other kind of greetings.
Think carefully, Wilhelm. Maybe not in your own name, but as Privy Councilor or Vice President.
I don't have to think carefully. This is utterly ridiculous.
Yes, David?
Why not show Dr. Furtwängler the evidence? It may refresh his memory.
Well, you won't find it because no such telegram exists.
Well, I tried. You gotta admit I tried. I thought I just might trap you there, Wilhelm, but David here was too quick for me. Smart move, David. Smart move. No, I don't have a telegram, but I know it exists. And I want you to know, Wilhelm, we're gonna keep looking for it because I believe you sent it.
Well, then you're wrong.
Art and politics. Art and politics. Let's take a look at that. You and the Berlin Philharmonic toured the Third Reich, played in countries the Nazis had conquered. Are you saying that conducting in occupied territories from 1939 on wasn't a commercial for Adolf and all he stood for?
No, we never officially represented the regime when we played abroad. We always performed as a private ensemble. I think I already told you that I was a freelance conductor.
You know something? You should have written our insurance policies for us because you've got more exclusion clauses than double indemnity. What do you imagine people thought? The Berlin Philharmonic's taken over by Dr. Goebbels and the propaganda ministry, but Willem's a freelance. So art and politics are now entirely separate. Is that what you believed ordinary people thought?
I have no idea what ordinary people thought.
No.
No, because I had only one intention. My only intention, whatever I did, was to show that
Music means more than politics.
Tell me about Van der Nul.
Van der Nul?
Yes, Van der Nul.
Van der Nul?
How long is this going to go on, Wilhelm? I say Van der Nul, you say Van der Nul. I say Van der Nul, you say Van der Nul. We could go on all day. You know who Van der Nul is, don't you? Edwin Van der Nul, music critic.
Yes, I know he is.
Isn't it true that because he gave you bad reviews and praised this young guy, Von Karajan, called him a goddamn miracle, said he was a better conductor than you, that you had Van der Nul conscripted into the army and no one's heard from him since?
That's an outrageous lie.
You sure you didn't call one of your close buddies and say, God in heaven, did you see what that guy Van der Nul wrote about me? The greatest conductor on earth. I want him out of the way. He had the nerve to accuse me of not playing enough modern music. Send him to Stalingrad. Isn't that what you did? You don't like criticism, do you, Wilhelm? You certainly didn't like them saying there was another conductor better than you. Are you saying the name Van der Nul was never mentioned in your talks with Goebbels?
Well, once he said he had read what this man wrote about me.
What did he say?
Well, he said, don't mind him. His job is to criticize. Your job is to conduct.
And what happened to Van der Nul?
I have no idea.
You really have no idea? I'll tell you what happened. He died in Stalingrad.
I'm sorry.
Now, that young conductor, what's his name? That miracle kid, you know who I mean. Von Karajan. But you called him something else. Come on, what did you call Von Karajan? Say it. I'll say it then. Little K. Is that right? You couldn't even bear to say his name.
Please, stop playing these games with me. Why, you should bring up the name of... another conductor. It's beyond my understanding.
I'll tell you why. You remember? We talked about you playing for Hitler's birthday, and you told me that Goebbels got to your doctors first? That you were tricked?
Yes, that's what happened.
I have a different story to tell. I don't think you were tricked. Not in the way you described. I believe something else happened. I've seen the Hinkle archive. I've seen records of phone calls, and putting it all together, this is what I think happened. I think Goebbels said, Wilhelm, if you won't conduct for Adolf, we'll get the miracle kid. The guy that critic Van der Nul thinks is the greatest conductor in the world. He's not just willing to conduct for Adolf, he's offered to sing Happy Birthday as a solo. Come on, admit it. Kay worried you, didn't he? He always worried you. In 1942, he's 34 years old. You're already 56. And Goebbels and Goering keep saying, if you won't do it, little K will. Never mind art and politics and airy-fairy bullshit about liberty, humanity, and justice, because I don't care how great you are, it's the oldest story in the book. The aging Romeo, jealous of the young buck. The real reason you didn't leave the country when you knew you should have was that you were frightened. You were frightened that once you were out of the way, you'd be supplanted by the miracle kid, the party's boy twice over, flashy, talented little K.
This is absolute nonsense.
Well, I'm just beginning to develop my theme. Isn't it what you call it in classical music, developing a theme? Okay, Willem, so they played on your insecurity. That's human, understandable. But there's one guy who doesn't like little K as much as he likes you. Yeah, the number one man. Your old pal Adolf. He thinks you're the greatest. And when he says, I want Willem for my birthday, boy, they better go out and get Willem. So Joseph calls and threatens you with little K, and you said, to hell with the Ninth in Vienna. I'll give it to Adolf as a birthday present in Berlin. That's the trick they played. They got you by the balls, and they squeezed hard. Why did you stay? Why did you play for them? Why were you the flag carrier for their regime? Jealousy.
Of course, there was a conspiracy against me. A campaign, even abroad.
You see, Willem, I'm talking about ordinary, everyday reasons, which is why I want to discuss your private life. How many illegitimate children do you have?
Major, I don't see how this line of questioning could have possibly
Anything
to do with this.
David! What are you, counsel for the defense now? Did you hear the question?
I have illegitimate children.
What?
I said I have illegitimate children. I don't know how many.
You like the women, don't you, Will? Isn't it true that before every concert you got a woman in your dressing room and gave her the old conductor's baton? Isn't that true?
Major, this is deeply offensive and repugnant.
You bet.
And totally irrelevant.
Not so, Counselor. That secretary of yours, she wasn't just your secretary. She procured women for you. Didn't she? As many and as often as you wanted.
Stop this. Please stop this now.
No, I'm not going to stop. Hitler himself offered you a beautiful house and a personal bomb shelter.
I absolutely refuse the house and the bomb shelter.
But you see what I'm getting at. You get a gorgeous house, you're highly paid. What are you going to do, stay or leave? One voice comes back at me. Stay.
Major, that's not a good argument. If Dr. Furtwängler indeed did enjoy all these privileges, he enjoyed them of who he is and what he is. That's true of any leading artist in any country in the world.
But it still doesn't make them saints. They still got to get up and piss in the middle of the night, don't they? They can still be vindictive and envious and mean, just like you and me. Well, just like me. Can't they? Okay, Will, go home now. Go home and think about these past 12 years.
I don't understand what you mean.
No, that's your problem, Will. You understand nothing. We'll call you. Go.
Major? What? Your manner.
My manner. Why don't you go downstairs, get a cup of coffee, and calm down? Now, sir. What's the matter, Emmy? What's going on with you? What's wrong?
I'm sorry. But I have to leave. I'll find other work. You have to get someone else settled.
What is this, Emmy?
I can't do this. It's not right.
What's not right?
I've been questioned like a medic Gestapo. Just like that. Just like you question him.
Emmy, stop. I want to show you something. Let me show you something, and then if you want to leave, you can leave. Please. Please. His friends, they did this. And he gave them birthday concerts.
But he had no idea. A lot of people had no idea. I only realized what was really going on when I got arrested.
If he had no idea, why did the Jews need saving? This is my question, Emmy, to all Germans. Why did the Jews need saving in this country? Why? If people had no idea.
I would like to go now, please.
Shots about you. Above all, I want my arms about you. Don't be a naughty baby.
Can I ask you a favor, Major?
Yeah.
When you question him again, could you treat him with more respect?
With more what? More what?
Major, he may just be the greatest conductor of this century, and that merits respect.
David, I don't understand a thing about you. You're a Jew. Are you a Jew?
Yes, I am a Jew. But I like to think first I'm a human being.
A human being? Oh, good. I'm relieved. I thought you were going to say you were a music lover. This man, this great artist, has made anti-Semitic remarks like you wouldn't believe. I got letters.
Major, show me somebody who hasn't made anti-Semitic remarks, and I'll show you the gates of paradise.
What is it with you? Where are your feelings, David? Where's your hatred, your disgust? Where's your fucking outrage, David? Think of your parents and then think of him conducting Happy Birthday, Dear Adolf. I mean, Christ's sake, whose side are you on? Grow up. Just grow the fuck up.
I want you to come back to the office. May I come in? If you're there, you can influence what happens. What good can you do by leaving? If you go, you're giving up. And how can you help Furtwängler or me? Don't think about leaving. Stay.
Everybody says what a great benefactor you were to the Jews. But I have things here, you said, and wrote. Listen to this. The Jew composer Schoenberg is admired by the Jewish International. And what about this? Jewish musicians lack a genuine affinity with our music. Jewish musicians are good businessmen with few scruples, lacking roots. You deny you said these things?
Those attitudes do not exist in me.
I believe that, but just answer the questions. Don't give me explanations.
Well, speaking to party members, I used their language, of course I did. Everyone did. But it's not me.
Then who is it? Who was speaking?
Major, sorry to interrupt, but maybe we have to balance those things against his assistance to his Jewish colleagues. This is a transcript from the proceedings at Nuremberg. A Swedish businessman, Birger Deleros, testified in cross-examination that he had several meetings with Hermann Göring. I first saw Goering, Deleuze testified, embroiled in a stormy interview with Dr. Wilhelm Furtwängler, the famous conductor of the Berlin Philharmonic, who was vainly seeking permission to keep his Jewish concertmaster. Emmy, pick one of these, any one, and read it out loud, please.
Please remember that Dr. Furtwängler risked his life to help anyone who asked him. I personally testified to having seen literally hundreds of people lined up outside his dressing room after concerts to ask for his help. He never turned anyone away. After he heard me play, I'm a violinist, he gave me money because I was unable to feed myself or my family. And then he helped me to escape to Sweden. He helped countless people in similar ways.
And that's only one of these letters, Major, and I have lots of them.
How many times have I got to tell you I was in insurance? You think I can't smell a phony policy when it's shoved under my nose? Sure, he helped Jews, but that was just insurance, his cover, because all the while he was maestro of all he surveyed. See, Wilhelm, I think you were their boy, their creature. You were like an advertising slogan for them. This is what we produce. The greatest conductor in the world. And you went along with it. The truth of the matter is, Wilhelm, you didn't need to be a member of the party. I made a mistake when I asked you for your party number. I should have asked you for your non-party number. Just like some other well-known artists. Emmy, put the record on. You know what that is?
Of course I know what it is.
Okay, so what is it?
Wagner Sabbath. The Adagio.
Who's conducting?
I am.
Do you know the last time it was played on these airwaves?
How could I know such a thing?
I'll tell you then. The last time this music was played on these airwaves was after they announced that your pal, Hitler, had shot himself. Listen to it. Did they pick Little K's recording? Did they pick some other conductor? No, they picked you. Why? Because you represented them so beautifully. When the devil died, they wanted his band leader to conduct the funeral march. You were everything to them.
I've always tried to analyze myself carefully, closely. Staying here, I believed I walked a tightrope between exile and the gallows. You seem to be blaming me for not having allowed myself to be hanged. I did not directly oppose the party because I told myself that it wasn't my job. If I had taken any active part in politics, I could not have remained here. But as a musician, I'm more than a citizen. I am a citizen of this country in that eternal sense to which the genius of great music testifies. I know that a single performance of a great masterpiece is a stronger and more vital negation of the spirit of Buchenwald and Auschwitz than words.
Have you ever smelled burning flesh? I smelled it 4 miles away! 4 miles away, I smelled it! Have you ever seen the gas chambers? The crematoria? Have you seen the mounds of rotting corpses? You talk to me about culture, art, and music? You putting that in the scales, Wilhelm? You setting culture, art, and music against the millions put to death by your pals? They had orchestras in the camps. They played Beethoven, Wagner. The hangmen playing chamber music at home with their families. I don't understand the Germans' relationship with music. What do you need music for? Your pals you could call to save a few Jews when millions of them were being annihilated? Yes! I blame you for not getting hanged. I blame you for your cowardice. You strutted and swaggered, you fucking piece of shit. Kingpin in a shit house. You talk to me about walking a tightrope between exile and the gallows, and I say to you, lies.
I love my country. I believe in music. What was I to do?
Look around you. See the country you serve. Look at people who had real courage, who took risks, who risked their lives. Like Emmy's father. Emmy, take your fingers out of your ears. I'm talking about your father.
My father only joined the plot when he realized that we could not win the war.
What kind of world do you want made? What kind of world are you going to make? Do you honestly believe that the only reality is the material world? If so, you will be left with nothing. Nothing but feculence. Feculence more foul-smelling than that which pervades your nights.
How was I to understand? How was I to know what they were capable of? No one knew.
I don't want to stay in this country. Guess I should have left 1934. It would have been better if I'd left.
Get him out of here.
Thank you, Fräulein. You've been most kind.
Sons of bitches. Major Arnold, get me General Wallace. General, about Fort Wrangler. I don't know if we've got a case against him, that'll find out, but sure as hell we'll give him a hard time. Hey, turn that down, will you? Can you see him on the phone? Never mind, we got a journalist that'll do whatever we tell him.
We handed Willem Furtwängler over to the civil authorities, and he was charged with serving the Nazi regime, with uttering anti-Semitic slurs, performing at an official Nazi party function, and with being a Prussian privy councillor. Dr. Furtwängler was acquitted. I didn't nail him, but I sure winged him. And I know I did the right thing. Furtwängler resumed his career, but he was never allowed to conduct in the United States. He died in 1954. Little K succeeded him as head of the Berlin Philharmonic.
Thank you.